You know, it's funny. Years later, they're divorced. He's like, I should have known, Ty, that this woman was the wrong woman for me. When she almost divorced me over what you said.
Yeah. We talked about Dr. Buss. We talked about monogamy earlier. So you read a lot of the same stuff that I do when it deals with mating and monogamy. Mm-hmm. What is Ty's dating life like, right? I remember when you were in LA, you would do these videos and you're like, can you get this girl's ethnicity? You remember those videos back in the day, right? What is it? What is your fundamental belief on dating? Do you travel too much? Is it one of these things where you don't want monogamy? Like, what is it like dating Tai Lopez?
You have to ask one of my exes, what is it like dating me? I'm friends with pretty much all my exes. All my exes live in Texas. That's why I live in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I've gone in different stages in life.
Yeah.
I think about 50% of people like being married, 25% are neutral, and 25% hate it. And so you got to know which pocket of the world are you? Are you the 50% that will love it? Are you the 25% that'll be or the 25% who's like, this is horrific? And I don't know. It's interesting. Europe, nobody gets married. It's funny. It's a super outdated concept. You go to Sweden, nobody gets married anymore. But they do pair up and have kids together, and sometimes they stay together for 20 years. And so I don't like man-made symbols this much. To me, the man-made part of it is just that. It's man-made, you know. My spiritual belief, like I don't believe in any spiritual stuff for the most part that most people do. People think Eastern philosophy is inherently spiritual. I'm like, I've been to Asia. There's a lot of non-spiritual shit happening in all those countries. So I judge a fruit by it. It's not that I don't believe in Eastern religion. I just don't automatically ascribe to it any level of spirituality just because you meditate and you know, the cessation of desire like a Buddhist or something. First off, I don't know, is the cessation of desire a great thing? Is it great? Do you love people you meet who have no desire and ambition? Is that good for the world? Would it be better if doctors had no ambition? I'm not sure. So my version of spirituality is I'm a naturalist. I believe in nature. I believe true spirituality is people who are connected to animals, the land, grow their own food, eat their own food, raise their own animals, multi-species too. Just having a cat or dog is an incomplete. It's great to have a cat or dog. I have that, but multiple species. Community, I believe in people that have real community. They form an actual tribe, like a physical. They're like, I try to have, like, my business partner lives 500 feet away from me. So that's my level of spirituality. And then, so when it comes to relationships, women, love, I mean, I think people should have kids. And I think that the purpose of a man and woman getting together is to have kids. And that's pretty hard to refute.
Right.
And it's always been that way. And all the religions have been there. And so I think people escalate this symbolism of, okay, I mean, let's get in debt and get weird jewelry and all this, say we love each other, and then we get divorced 3 years. Like, that's not real. Like, so I'm not, it's a lot of virtue signaling. It's like, look how committed we are. Why do you need a ring?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Maybe it's fun and it's just like a dream. It's kind of like having a Lamborghini, which is fine. But a lot of people ascribe like realness to it. Like, yo, we are committed, bro. Why? Because we just dropped $100,000 at some tourist resort drinking alcohol. Oh, very spiritual thing to drink alcohol. Sarcastically, I say. We have a whole bunch of people waste their money and we do this and that. And like I said, you can argue that there is a value to that. It's not for me. So like you find that, and if you look at the fruit of the world, people have a whole bunch of freaking messed up relationships. So I think the real thing is men and women get together primarily to have children. Okay, let's just cut through the BS. That is the ultimate. If you ask your great grandmother or grandfather, that's how the game goes. Now, you may not like that, and you might say, no, there's other things, but can we just be real? That's what I want to say. There's different schools of philosophy, you know, Spinoza and this, that, and then there's America was built around the Scottish school of common sense. It's one of the greatest names of any philosophy ever. The school of common sense. And to me, I'm like, can we have common sense? Like, why is that people get mad about that? I had a friend, was actually a very wealthy guy and all. And man, his wife, I said something like this. We were all in a jacuzzi once. Dude, she almost divorced him for being my friend. She was so mad. I was just having a conversation.
Yeah.
She asked me this question about love and I was like, yeah, I think it's like, Ty, why aren't you married? I'm like, why are you? What is it? I do think people should commit to each other.
Yeah.
Humans need to commit to each other. It's not that I'm anti-commitment. It's just like, and she got so mad. You know, it's funny. Years later, they're divorced. He's like, I should have known, Ty, that this woman was the wrong woman for me.
Why won't you fall into the same
trap? She almost divorced me over what you said.
Yeah.
Like at least, even if I'm off base, don't be divorcing your husband because his friend has a belief, you know?
Yeah.
But he's now like, it all makes sense, bro. If you only knew about this one. But so I think, you know, here in Sweden, you'll see, or Denmark, people get married, they have 10 kids together. They live together every day of their life. They don't cheat, but they never got married. It's very common in Iceland.
Yeah.
So I think it's a super cultural thing. You know, I have a friend, his grandfather had 2 wives. He grew up with 2 grandmothers. Super normal guy. There's a lot of weird permutations on Mubarak, the bloodthirsty, had 700 sons, and he didn't count his daughters. So he probably had 7. He probably had 1,000 wives. Modern Morocco in the 1300s. Probably fucking half of Morocco's related to Mubarak, the bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happens. And I think what's the more important conversation is, who are you having kids with? Are you having kids with the Kukulukus? Like, this is, what do you think is more spiritual and good for the world? Are you having a wedding ceremony where you narcissistically take a lot of pictures of yourself in white and this and blah and do a dot, but the essence is you're getting married to a whack job. I was at this wedding in St. Bart's. Oh my God. I don't even want to say, because some people might be watching, but it was a great semblance of some of the most mental illness I've ever seen. Everybody took this life compass quiz and was coming up to me. Can you interpret my results? I was like, I ain't telling you what this tells me about you.
This is bad.
I'm not telling you. But one guy took it, and his wife's like, what does this tell me about my husband? Well, when he took the life compass quiz, he goes, oh, I'm probably going to get a psycho. When somebody says that, believe them. Sure enough, he got 100 out of 100 on the Levinson psychopathy. I'm like, that usually means they're at some level of criminality already. I once found out a girl murdered somebody at that basketball court. I had this party. I was like, everybody take my quiz. And I turned to this girl and I was like, you killed somebody. And I was kind of joking, and her face got horrified. About 2 hours later, she admitted to me she had killed somebody when she was 19. She said, I'm the only person in the world who knows. I said, I saw your test scores. But anyway, my point being is, okay, is marriage about the form, the symbolism of going, oh, I do hereby, but you're actually, the essence is you're marrying an insane person.
Yeah.
Who's going to pass on their insane genes and curse your children. So I feel like, you know, the saying, looking for love in all the wrong places. I feel like people are looking for answers and meaning in all the wrong places. Like, the meaning of marriage is for 2 people to get together. Be careful who you have kids with. Raise kids in a healthy way. Sometimes you find tremendous love between the parents, and sometimes you become friends, and they're both okay. You don't have to force some ultra meaning that you've been deluded by some pseudo spiritual thing to say, no, this is, having kids will be your most spiritual experience, my friend. Remember, you have none of the same genes as your spouse. None. You never will. But you have 50% of your kids.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that lasts for most people. I watch people when they're older. Sometimes people have the genes and the interest to stay married till they're 100. A lot of people don't. And guess what? Their kids still are around. Kids last forever, in the sense that your kids can have kids who have kids who have kids. And you have an unbroken chain of people who never cease to have kids. And so that's what mattered. And if you can find love in that, that's amazing. But more important is, are you having kids with a whack job? Because all the marriage vows in the world doesn't change you marrying a wolf and then getting bit later and being like, oh, I got married by. It's because you got tricked to pay attention to the wrong thing. What you should have been paying attention to.
Beautiful.
Is the quality of the person, not just on the attraction level, which is important, don't get me wrong, but does this person have what it takes that you want to spend time around them for 40 years while your kids grow up and your grandkids? Because if you get that wrong, you got momentary bliss at your wedding ceremony and for the next 2 years. And then when it died and you realize who you actually accidentally attached yourself to. And where are all these pastors in the world, these supposed spiritual people that are marrying people? If I was a pastor, I'd be like, I ain't marrying you. You two are toxic for each other.
Oh, right,
I ain't
right,
going
yeah.
down. I'm like, what kind of spiritual leader just marries people for money? That's all it is now. It should be like, talk to me. I'm putting if you're a spiritual leader, Muslim, Christian, Jew, they'll marry, all those religions marry almost everybody for money. I'm suspicious of religious people. Now, the Amish I live with have great marriages, no divorce, but that's a special case of a self-selected group that has genetics that likes this. The Amish do it well. Happy marriages, but that's because people who don't make happy marriages usually go do something else. But the modern world is like a preacher's just like, yeah, I'll marry you. He's like, let me marry Jeffrey Dahmer. Let's marry Jeffrey Dahmer to freaking the Black Widow. Yeah, I'm spiritual. So yeah, you give me my $500. Yeah, it's all to kiss each other. Do this. Oh, IV wet. You're opposite of spiritual. You're not spiritual. A spiritual leader takes tough stance. Spiritual leader says, I'm going to be honest. I revoke this marriage. I denounce this marriage. And one day you two will thank me that I kept you two whack jobs from marrying each other. I'm going to stick both of you in therapy. I'm going to stick both of you, I'm going to lobotomize both of you. And then I'll bring you back in 5 years when you're ready. Like, that would be a better world.
Right.
So I'm not about the form of things. You can't fool me.